You're listening to Seattle Real Estate Podcast.
So King County, the county that I live, that I'm recording this podcast for you right now from, it is in dire danger of being rolled back from phase 3 to phase 2. That impacts a ton of businesses that are dependent upon occupancy. Now we're right now at 50% occupancy. They can have half the people in as normal. They're going to get downgraded at 25%. A lot of these businesses are really going to suffer. Now, what happened the last time that we were in this position where it's like, we should probably be downgraded? Well, our governor just kind of moved the metrics. Instead of needing just one of those metrics to fall into place to downgrade us, to move us back, we needed 2. Now we're probably going to have those 2. What's going to happen? That's what we're going to talk about today here on the Seattle Real Estate Podcast. You got a lot of states that are just full bore, open up. We're doing this. Rip off that Band-Aid, address the issues as we go. Washington State isn't one of those. We are following the game plan based on the data or the science until we need to just move those goalposts and get the desired effect we need, which is reopening. But because we've been so focused on, the coronavirus, we've been so focused on that we've kind of allowed all these systems to just be shut down, having these ridiculous, don't get me started. It's crazy. But small business is in jeopardy of being rolled back to phase 2 here in King County. All business is, right? I kind of think even if that happens, most businesses, full steam ahead. Yeah, we know it's 50%, but they can't catch all of us all the time, can they? That's what we're reading about. I'm doing a Como News article. If you're new here, thanks so much for joining. My name is Sean Reynolds. I own a couple of real estate companies, but I talk about like pro-business, sometimes real estate, but a lot of stuff that you just want to hear. All right, let's get into it. King County in danger of moving back to phase 2. Businesses brace themselves for rollback. Thank you for those of you who sent this one to me. When I saw it, I was like, yeah, I'll probably read that one because we're tired of hearing about the Rona, aren't we? But when small business is impacted, I'll cover it. With the number of COVID cases climbing and hospitalizations on the rise, King County may be forced to slide back to phase 2. Many business owners are on the edge because of that. Nathan's Barbershop in the University District of Seattle is going to be hit hard if King County rolls back. I think of the same thing with gyms that I know, restaurants that I know, bar owners that I know. And I'm like, no, we can just we know that these cases are because people are getting together in groups like they haven't before. The numbers for young people, like in the 20s demographic, they are skyrocketing. Why? Because they're tired of hunkering down by themselves. They're going out, and they know if they go out and catch the Rona, you know what's going to happen? Not a lot. They're going to live. Odds are super high that they're going to make it. And people are getting the vaccines, and I think people are just running around. Does this mean that we put those who can be impacted by this, do we put them in harm's way? Absolutely not. But you kind of like what I've said from the get-go. You get those people out of the way, get them out of harm's way, get them the vaccine, whatever they need to do there. But don't force them into situations where, they're going to have exposure to the Rona. But for the rest of us, I think you just keep going and we do our thing. It will be even worse than we are right now, said Haitham Almaamar. He's the owner of Nathan's Barbershop. Before the pandemic, they had room for 3 barbers to work at the same time. With King County currently in phase 3, he has only 2 barbers working right now. So a third of his workforce just boom, gone. Those are huge numbers for small business, huge numbers. If we go back to phase 2, that means I have to go with only 1 barber. So I'm going to have to operate by myself, said Almaamar. To get hit again, it will be a huge setback. I'm not sure we could recover from that again. And I think Governor Inslee knows this. So I think if we are even close, I think May 3rd is when the next kind of decision is made. But that's the date that they look at the data and go, okay, do we need to roll back? I bet you they do something like moving the goalposts again, right? Now, instead of having not just 1, but 2 metrics line up for you guys to go from phase 3 backwards to phase 2, we're going to need 3, and then we're going to need 3 with the Joker, which is, it'll be something else. Got to have that in there too. I bet you that's what happens. I bet you we don't get rolled back, right? Because everybody kind of knows, all right, you hiccup the economy long enough, not good for business tax base, and everybody's looking at their budgets going, oh, that's not pretty. Yeah, not good. We need that Fed money, but we need to get going on our own as well. So I think there's a big push towards just, all right, let's keep this train rolling. At Non and Curry in Issaquah restaurant, the curry keeps customers coming back. During phase 3, the restaurant only offers takeout. We stuck to takeout due to the fact that it may fluctuate. We don't think it does justice with the staff that we'd bring in here to adhere to capacity because we'd have to let them go again if there was a reduction in capacity, said owner Sean Reynolds. King County Health recognized the restaurant for its optimized and efficient takeout processes, according to 𝒔𝒕𝒕𝒍𝒆. It's because of the way we enforce those social distance rules and how our lines flow. We make it very easy for the customer to pick up their food. So a lot of businesses have adjusted, but they've made adjustments based on the fact, okay, if we might have to get rolled back, what does that look like? Let's just keep doing what we're doing because we can make XYZ amount of money doing that. And when we kind of get past some of this, I think a lot of businesses are saying that's when we'll open up more. But if you got a business that makes this work, yeah, being rolled back from phase 3 to 2. A rollback from phase 3 to phase 2 means going from 50% capacity to 25%. And let's be honest, restaurants not able to make it at 25%. Long term, not able to make it at 50%, but it is close enough where they're able to operate, pay some of the bills, and something is better than nothing right now. Plus, I think we're at a position where with as many people getting the vaccine, I think you just got to move forward. And, if you get a whole bunch of cases, you get a whole bunch of cases. I think we're learning more and more that these cases aren't coming from people going to restaurants. They are coming from people getting together in small gatherings in homes, and they're hanging out for far too long, and they're doing all that good living stuff. The good stuff. You know what I mean? Just having a small party. All right. You gave us the Rona. Not good. Hearing a lot of those stories too, like normal people who've been just hunkered down religiously. They're actually doing stuff. And that is where these cases are coming from, right? For restaurants that count on indoor dining, the rollback could be a serious setback. It's going to be very tough for them, said 𝒔𝒕𝒂𝒕𝒍. If I'm butchering that, that's pretty normal for me. I'm not trying to do anything weird. I just 𝒔𝒕𝒂𝒕𝒍𝒆. 𝒔𝒕𝒂𝒕𝒍. I don't know if that's right. They need the 50% capacity to survive. And that's what I hear from a lot of business owners that are restaurant owners is, hey, we need 50% capacity. Same thing with gyms. A rollback will also hurt many gyms. During phase 3, Northwest Fitness Wellness Center can have 28 people. Moving back to phase 2 allows for 14 people. Now, one of the gyms that I'm working out at right now, Crunch Fitness in Bellevue, it has an app. And so they ask you when you leave the gym to check back out because real live time, I don't know how accurate it is. You can see how many people are in the gym. So you have the option, okay, it's pretty much close to full capacity. I don't want to work out there during that. Whereas me, I don't care. I've worked out at a gym most all of last summer and into fall before my other gym opened up. Long story. But they didn't wear masks at that gym, and it was awesome. I'm not saying that I want to get people sick, but when you're off on your own doing a cardio machine, your odds of breathing on somebody else are minimal. Plus, we understand that CDC has come out and said, hey, it's not really all that transferable from hard surfaces. It's mainly just airborne. So all of this ridiculous cleaning of surfaces we did at the get-go, kind of a big waste of time, but it was what we had to do at the time to operate, right? Gyms, same thing. But the gym I went to, they were like, man, this is just kind of what we're doing. We're not too worried about it. And you know what? I haven't heard of a single case of the Rona coming out of that gym. And it should, if you believe the media, it should be the biggest super spreader of all. There's no masks the entire time, just going. It's extremely discouraging. We are, of course, trying to be nimble during this time. That's why we're operating as a wellness clinic and not just a standard fitness facility, said owner John Caricho. Blair McHaney is president and founder of Washington Fitness Alliance. The rollback for fitness means moving back to 50% capacity, back to 25%. For some, that's not going to be an issue. For bigger gyms, that's what they're saying. It's not going to be an issue because they're already bringing in enough people and they've got the capacity to make it work. Same thing with bigger restaurants. Restaurants, a lot more indoor seating. They can still make a go of it at 25%. But if you've got a small little shop, you cut down your capacity by 50%. From 50 to 25, that makes the economics work even worse. They don't work, right? But I get concerned about the smallest businesses in our space. Those are the ones that get hurt, said McHaney. McHaney said the large fitness clubs with extensive occupancy won't be impacted as significantly by a phasing rollback. They're going to be probably okay at 25%. It's the studios. Fitness studios. It's the smallest businesses. It's the crosscuts, little CrossFit, CrossFit, with the crazy kipping pull-ups. Yeah, I like to make fun of those because they're easy to make fun of. It's the crosscuts, but CrossFit, an amazing workout. If you can get through it, not get hurt, amazing workout. It's the crosscuts, the yoga studios, the personal training studios. They're the ones that really get punished, said McHaney. Retail and restaurant industry experts also say small stores or mom and pop owned restaurants also are impacted significantly by rollbacks because they already have limited capacity and they have a tough time covering their costs during the pandemic. Well, they have a tough time covering their costs, not during the pandemic, but just during normal business. Restaurant business is a super, super thin business, along with grocery stores. So I was reading news articles, and I don't think I'll actually read it, but I probably should. QFC, Quality Food Centers here in the Pacific Northwest, they shut down 2 grocery stores in the Seattle area, Wallingford store, that's the University of Washington area, and then also Capitol Hill, which is CHOP territory, right? They shut down 2 longtime grocery stores because the Seattle City Council, in their infinite wisdom, said, we're going to rule in that you got to pay your employees $4 an hour more. Now, I read some of the comments and people are like, $4 an hour? Why can't they just do that? Well, labor is a huge component of a lot of these businesses. And you bump up labor component by $4, call it maybe you're at $16 to begin with and you bump it up to 20. That is a massive increase in your overhead. It just is. And the businesses don't work. And so QFC Corporate said, those 2 businesses weren't doing well before the coronavirus. And you know what? You're forcing our hand. You make us bump our pay scale up $4 an hour. We're done. So they're closing those two grocery stores. And that happened, I think, over this weekend. I know one of them did, but I think they're just closing both of them. So corporate said, thanks for moving us along with this decision, City of Seattle. And so the City of Seattle is like, oh yeah, our citizens kind of pissed. Because they lost 2 important grocery stores. They will now have 2 less grocery stores because government interfered with the free market. And that's what happens. Businesses will say, I can't do that. We're a no-go. So that happened. And what do the Seattle City Council, what do they do? Not much. We'll go shop at one of those other really expensive grocery stores. And those other people who shop at QFC, who cares about them? Did they really need a grocery store anyway? Yeah, a lot of them did. A lot of them, it was the store that was within walking distance of them. And QFC is a pretty good store. I've shopped at QFC a lot, not necessarily the Wallingford or the Capitol Hill one, but to have a grocery store shut down because they couldn't make a go of it because their hand was forced by the government. I'm not a fan of that. That sucks. So I kind of think that we won't have this rollback because a lot of other, areas of the country, they're not going that direction either. They are going more full steam ahead because we have lost time to make up. We need to get some of that tax revenue going through our system. And you don't really do that by shutting things down or constricting them further, especially businesses like gyms and bars and restaurants and all that good life stuff. But we are having cases kind of go up pretty hard here in the Seattle area in Washington State. And we're looking around going, it's kind of what we thought would happen, right? You let the animals out of their cage, they're gonna contract the Rona. This is just what we're dealing with now. My friend Gavin, and he doesn't mind. He's not an anonymous kind of guy. My friend Gavin in Sydney, his cousin lives in another state in Australia. Because his cousin had been in a couple of the areas that one person who had the Rona with, they are basically making my friend Gavin's cousin, they're making him stay in place. They are making him, you got to be home because you happened to be in an area where one person with the Rona was found out by the government. So Australia has had so few cases because they're, let's be honest, an island, and they restricted all of their travel in and out of the country. So they've just been on lockdown for like a year. Very effective at controlling the coronavirus. But at some point in time, you got to rip off that Band-Aid, and that's where Washington is. And when Australia does allow travel, how is that reaction going to be? We've got 500 cases of the Rona. Good Lord, it's an epidemic. We're all going to die. Because at some point in time, you just got to realize, okay, a lot of people are going to get this. Some people are going to die, but life doesn't stop. It really doesn't. Although it did during the coronavirus. We were all, given a healthy dose of paralyzing fear on an ongoing basis. Love that term, paralyzing fear. Doesn't it just conjure up images of, can't do anything, paralyzed with fear, can't look left, can't look right, just frozen with fear because the media has spoon-fed you story after story after story that if you leave your home and you don't have 15 masks on, you're going to get the Rona and you could die. When, in reality, I believe when it's your time, it's your time. And if you die from the Rona, that's your time. But the odds are you're not going to die. And if you're younger and good health, you're not going to die. And if you get it, your odds are damn near 100%. You're going to make it. I will take those odds all day long. Am I saying we need to expose a lot of people that shouldn't be exposed to it? Absolutely not. But life has to move on. And we've identified those people who should be, out of the way, doing their own thing, hunkered down at home, working from home, whatever. Keep those people on that game plan as long as they want to be on that game plan. I have zero issues with that. Zero issues. But this monkeying around with economies, we had 14 more cases. We need to roll everybody back. You know what? We don't want to do this rollback because we don't want to do the rollback. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to move these metrics around a little bit, and we're going to get to our desired position, which is pretending that we care about everybody and yet keeping the businesses going. And yet what we said before, not as relevant now. So we're going to move past that and we're going to enter into a new era. And everybody sits back and goes, what? You tell me this is based on the data and the science? And you're just changing things willy-nilly? Yeah, it's 2021. And this is the Seattle area. It's Western Washington. All of Western Washington basically host. And I jest on those kind of things, but it's like, what are we doing? And I ask my friends that own businesses that are in those kind of things, what do you think? You think we'll get rolled back? And everybody's like, yeah, given our past history, I don't know. That last rollback that should have happened when we just changed the metrics. Interesting. Nobody knows. But I think a lot of businesses are just going to head down, keep going. And if they get their capacities moved back, they're going to figure it out. We've got summer coming here in the Pacific Northwest. You guys, wherever you are, you've probably got better weather than we do. I almost guarantee that. But, maybe there's going to be some more outdoor dining. Maybe gyms can do some more outside stuff. And we just kind of gut through this last, more cases. There's greater numbers of cases right now. We just kind of gut through that, get to the other side, and that's where we're at. I think that's what happens is businesses that are still in businesses they're still in business have been hammered on for so long that they're going to keep going. It doesn't matter what government throws at them, capacity or whatever, they're going to figure it out. And yeah, that's where it's at. So I think that's what happened. I think we either don't get rolled back, or even if we do, the businesses that are impacted the most, they're just going to keep moving forward because they've made it this far, right? Are they, struggling to that point where they're going to go under? That is some of the concern. But there is also a fair amount of money floating around for these types of businesses. You go through the state, the EIDL, the PPP, the expansion of the loans that are available to these businesses. I think there are enough lifelines for these businesses to make it. I certainly hope so, because one of my big things is, pro small business, because nobody really gives a damn about small business. Like Seattle City Council, and QFC is not small business, but it's an indication of, well, they can pay $4 more. They have no clue. And anybody who says, well, they should just suck it up and pay $4 an hour more, those are people who have never run a payroll. Those are people who have never looked at payroll taxes. Those are people who have never looked at the bottom line. All right, I keep this business open. I don't keep that business open. I got to make a choice. That's what I'm going to do it on. Oh, City of Seattle wants me to bump the hourly rate by $4. Can't do it. Sorry, folks. Business closed. Literally what happens in a marketplace, right? If you're not making money, you can't do it on charity, because that's called nonprofit. Crazy times we live in. Crazy times. All right. So I'm going to talk about my next podcast. I'm talking about Governor Inslee signs evictions right to an attorney. And then also Portland is to launch, re-enter a landlord, some kind of package. We're talking about more of this stuff. That's what we're doing because it's important and you guys want to hear it. All right. That's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Until then, stay safe. We'll see you soon. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell so you'll know when our next video is out.